Hello, I'm back with another video. Same place as last time. I would have the camera behind the natural light to make it look good, but I actually don't have anywhere to put up my phone, so deal with it. Anyways, so this video is going to be my top 5 favorite albums of all time, of currently, but really the favorite albums don't really change. I would do a top 10, but the video would be too long and my phone and my laptop doesn't have enough storage, so I don't want to actually put myself through that. Like the constant struggle of it being like, you don't have enough storage to keep editing this video, and then it turns out like crap. So we're not going to do that. We're going to do top 5. So yeah, these are my top 5 favorite albums. I'm going to be telling you why I like them, you know, the whole thing. So yeah, let's get into it. Before we start, I just want to say some honorable mentions. I'm not going to go like into detail with it because again, the video will be too long, but I will say my honorable mentions. Off the top of my head, I have Where You Want to Be by Taking Back Sunday. They're Only Chasing Safety, Under Oath. Your Favorite Weapon, Brand New. The Cure, Disintegration. Decadence, Head Automatica. And that's all I can think of right now. So let's get into the actual top 5. Starting off strong with number 5, I have 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge by My Chemical Romance. This is a very special album to me, well, clearly because it's in my top 5 favorite albums, but if you couldn't tell by the way I look, by, you know, getting a glance at my space, I'm a My Chemical Romance fan. I have a My Chemical Romance inspired tattoo on my body. It is a 3 Cheers inspired tattoo. That album is my favorite My Chem album, one of my favorite albums of all time, of course. I love it because I find concept albums and art and music that kind of create a story and are very well, I guess, aestheticized. Big word right there. I like when you can create a story with not only just the music and the lyrics, but also visuals and everything else in between. It already tells a story from the album cover. I mean, you can kind of just already tell that there's something going on. And then, you know, at least in the sleeve, it gives you a little story, a story of a man, a woman, and the corpses of 1,000 evil men. So if you don't know the concept of 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge, it's essentially about a man and a woman called the Demolition Lovers. They basically sort of have this, I guess, Bonnie and Clyde sort of relationship. You know, a lot of gunfights, a lot of crime and stuff like that, but they're very much in love. They die in a gunfight, or the Demolition Man dies in a gunfight, and he makes a deal with the devil in order to get back to his wife. He has to kill 1,000 evil men, and he realizes that the 1,000th evil man is himself. Want want. There's more like kind of intricacies and, you know, more smaller stories, especially that are like themes in each of the songs, but that's essentially the whole thing. And My Chem does a really good job of explaining and telling that story through their lyricism. One song that in particular that stands out to me through the story and is my favorite My Chemical Romance song is I Never Told You What I Do for a Living. It kind of does inspire this tattoo a little bit. There's Touched by Angels, Though I Fall Out of Grace. Another Knife in My Hands. Knife, angel, you see the whole thing. I guess religious imagery, stuff with death, and I guess violence in a sense. There's also, I guess, some sexual undertones in there. All of those kind of combined create for a really good storytelling. A lot of things you can tell from themes like that, and I think they do, again, a really good job at that. They kind of created a whole breed of people when they wrote this album, me being included. I have read, it's faded as fuck right now, I have Red and Black Hair, inspired by none other than Gerard Way. I tend to stick to like black and red, and I don't know, that whole thing is sort of fun. They do a really good job with their costumes when it comes to that sort of stuff. If you see like Gerard on stage in that era, he's always got something going on. Same with the entire band. Yeah, it's just a really well written album. It's a really great story told. It's just really good. It's really good and I like it a lot. Is that so bad? Up next, I have Saves the Day Through Being Cool. This album is so important to me. I can't even stress that enough. That's an understatement when I say that. I think that an element to making good music and, you know, creating a band that makes things really well, this is in my humble opinion, that sort of thing, you have to be a band from specifically the suburbs outside of a city, or a state that like lies right outside of the city. So for example, Saves the Day, they're from New Jersey, and New Jersey's a small state, and you're right outside, depending on where you are, you're usually right outside of Philly or you're right outside of New York. And similar bands that are like that, or every other New Jersey band, I'll get into that. Fall Out Boy, they say they're from Chicago. They're actually not. They're from the suburbs outside of Chicago. Bands from like Long Island and stuff like that, like Brand New, Taking Back Sunday, Glassjaw, whatever. So I think that that's a product, that's an element that you need to write good music, because there's nothing like, and I know from personal experience, there's nothing like driving down the highway and seeing the city. It's really something that you can only write about if you experience it. I don't even know how to explain it. So that's why I love Saves the Day so much, especially this album, because they write about kind of that experience, not, you know, in specifics, but, you know, the entire, I guess, theme and the general vibe of it is really like, these are some kids from New Jersey. Like, you know, there's some kids from New Jersey. Another thing that's very important to me when it comes to music and albums and artists that I love is the lyrical content of it. I think that you can make a really good song, but if your lyrics suck, I'm not listening to it. Thank you. And I think that Saves the Day does a really good job with their lyrics. They have such a sort of, I guess, specific type of way of writing their lyrics. There could be so many ways to write good lyrics to good songs. You can use a shit ton of metaphors. You can write, you know, a story. You can write in so many different types of ways, but Saves the Day does this thing where they kind of write so directly to a point that it's good. You know what I mean? You listen to some songs and it's a little too direct to the point where you're like, okay, this is boring. Like, there's no depth to this. But Saves the Day is almost so direct that you're like, oh, you know what I mean? They write in a way that almost feels like a conversation. I saw an interview that Chris Conley did that he used a lot of writing prompts from his classes at Rutgers for his lyrics, and it was essentially sort of, you know, write about a feeling, like write how this feeling would be felt, if that makes sense. So some of these songs aren't exactly direct experiences, but they're more of how you would experience a certain feeling if you were to feel that, if that makes sense. And I think that's really cool. And like I said earlier, most of the songs on this album specifically feel like you're having a conversation with someone. They use a lot of names. Off the top of my head, I can think of Shoulder to the Wheel. And I say, just go, please, Dave, just drive. Like, yes, please, Dave, just fucking drive. Like, I get that. Or Through Being Cool, you know what, next time you see Nick, tell him I'm gonna shove some needles in his face. Or my favorite part of the song, spin right back around and say, Nick, why are you such a prick? Yeah, those are the ones I can think of off the top of my head. And I just think that they do it in such like a great way. It just feels like you're not trying to write it. It's almost like as he's singing it, it's just the things that are just coming out of his mouth. It's not even like you're directly trying to do it. You're just saying, if that makes sense. And again, with the whole New Jersey thing, they write a lot about things that are just like so specifically New Jersey. Like to one of the lyrics, boardwalks and breaking waves made our Saturdays. I would get that. Like, yes, I understand, because you go to the boardwalk and the beach is there. That's like New Jersey. I know that's in a lot of other states too, but like I know it's a New Jersey thing. They mentioned Highland Park being on a rooftop. Oh, another use of the name, Chris, look out. Chris, look out across the sky and tell me which way the wind blows. It's just like, yes. One of my favorite songs on that album is The Last Lie I Told. That song is so personal to me because there's not really a thing you can point out what it's about, but if you understand and experience what I assume Chris or whoever wrote it was experiencing, you understand it. I'm in a parking lot by myself. It's 8:45. I've been here since 5:45. There's no one, but I can hear some dogs barking in the backyard. As if it weren't for those trees, I think I could see for miles. The city is just beyond those clouds. And I guess this is what it's like to be really down. Yes, I understand. I get it. But yeah, I could go on and on and on about this album, but it's mostly just like how awesome I think the lyrics are. And I know that at the time when this album came out, it was very, influential, and a lot of my own personal favorite bands have taken inspiration specifically from Through Being Cool, and the lyrics and the instrumentals were just very important and very, like I said again, influential. And I understand. It's just a great album. It's one of those things that it's like, you don't get it until you live that album, and I'm living that album right now. And I just, I get it. It's so good. And just another thing, like, just instrumentally, it's just really fun. Like, they talk, like, sometimes the lyrics aren't, like, the most happiest thing in the world, but they got some great guitar, and you're like, yes, yeah, like, heart is on the floor, why don't you step on it? But I'm like, yes, I love that album so much, and I love Through Being Cool. Number 3 on the list is Glassjaw's Everything You Ever Wanted to Know About Silence. This album, for me, kind of changed the way I see music, if that makes sense. I wasn't really listening to, not that Glassjaw is the heaviest band in the world, but I wasn't really listening to that many bands that were, I guess, super hardcore. Again, they're not the most hardcore band in the world, I know that, but they kind of changed, they shifted the way that I started introducing myself to music. I was very much into more softer post-hardcore, pop punk, things of that vein, you know what I mean? My favorite band is Fall Out Boy, you get the vibe. But I listened to this album and this band for the first time, and I was like, this is the best thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, actually. So they kind of changed music for me. They shifted this type of style that, like, I guess I want to write music eventually when I do write music. And I just think it's so awesome. The thing about this album is that they were so young when they wrote it. Young being, I think, around 19. They started the band in 1993, and they were, off the top of my head, I think they were like 13, 14, 15, which is crazy. But this album came out in 99, I believe, somewhere around there. So I think they were, again, about 19, and I'm 19 right now. So I think it's crazy that you can write an album like that at such a young age. And I would know because, like, I feel like I'm too young to write an album like that, but I am their age when they wrote that album. The album is just so insane. It's just so insane. You could just feel and hear, and just you're experiencing the anger and emotion that Daryl was going through at the time. It's a lot of, themes of, I guess, loneliness, him struggling with, his disease, and on top of that, him kind of not liking, I guess, a girl or some girls. I know that, for example, the song Rai Rai Song wasn't written about a girl he had experience with, but one of his friends did. And they say, the band, that it's one of the most angriest songs on the album because they were just so angry about it because some girl was mistreating their friend. But I know that most of the songs on the album are about, Daryl and I guess the band's personal experience, and you can hear it. You can hear it. The pipes on this man. Oh my God. Like, he just keeps going. You listen to Hurting and Shoving, and that part kind of towards the end, right, I think before, like, the last chorus, like, the drum, and then just, like, he just screams. It's like, whoa. Like, oh my God. But that's what makes, to me, that's what I think makes music so good, is you need to feel an emotion so intensely to be able to make, the art you want to make to the fullest. I heard somewhere that the producer for this album, Ross Robinson, I think something along the lines told Daryl to read aloud the lyrics so he could actually feel it, and then when it came time to recording it, he could put out all the emotion that he could, you know, after reading it in front of everyone, so he could feel it, if that makes sense. And whatever Ross did, like, it worked. It worked. Like, holy shit, this album is just so good. And I know, again, that some of the lyrical content is a little bit, to put it blatantly, misogynistic, yeah. But me as a woman, I can look past it. Because it's so good. Like, even the songs where he kind of talks about, you know, hating a certain woman or something like that, like, even if it were a man, I'd be like, yeah, I get it. Some of the lyrics are actually crazy. Like, you can lead a whore to water, and you can bet she'll drink and follow orders. Or there's this one lyric, I just might fuck you enough to love you. Crazy, but bars. I sing it. Oh my god, I just love the album. And, like, I know he's since, like, apologized for it and stuff like that, but I understand how such an intense emotion can kind of bring out, maybe not the worst in you, but bring out, you know, all those emotions. And, you know, you have to, in order to express it, you have to go to extremes. And I understand that. Yeah, but the album is just, it's just so good. It's crazy, and I love Glassjaw, if you can't tell. Number 2 on my list is Thursday's Full Collapse. I love Thursday so much. It was kind of hard to pick my favorite album by them, but honestly, I knew the safe bet was Full Collapse because it's a perfect album front to back. You can't not like the album. I think it was my safest bet, and I do genuinely love the album so much. So that's my favorite Thursday album. Like I said, I love Thursday. I love Thursday so much. Oh my god. If you can't tell, there's a common theme that I just love New Jersey bands. I take my New Jersey pride very seriously. New Jersey, born and raised, thank you very much. I love New Jersey bands. I think almost every band and artist that comes into New Jersey, they make good music. Fire. I get it. Like, I just understand. So like I said, I take lyrics they're very important to me when it comes to albums. And I think that Jeff Rickley writes lyrics like nobody else does. He's just so good at it. I don't really know how to explain it. And one thing I love about Thursday is that they don't really beat around the bush when it comes to talking about problems in the world and, you know, stuff that's going on and things like that. I think that a lot of the songs on this album and their entire discography are very politically driven and kind of stating the shit that's going on in the world and the things that people are doing wrong. I know in the song Autobiography of a Nation, it's very, from what I took from it, it's again, very politically driven. It's kind of just about, like, you know, a lot of countries, especially America, you know, took away people's homes. The people who were here originally, we took it all. There's lyrics that says, we adopt the customs of everything they said. We burn the villages. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't come to play. They didn't come to play, all right? And I think that's very important to put out into the world with art. You need to make a statement about things, and they do a very good job at that. Even if the people listening don't really notice it at first, they're still listening and consuming to it, and eventually, if they do get it and understand, it's a good thing to know that, you know, the artists that you like and you enjoy and you support are supporting and not supporting sort of things that are going on in the world. I'm not very good with words, if you couldn't tell. Lots of cuts in this video because I just can't speak. I'm trying to build my vocabulary, and I'm trying to not pause every time I speak. So it's very hard for me to articulate how I want to talk about things like that. Things more serious, talking about, I guess, the state of the world and
Like
the socioeconomic state of the world right now. You know what I mean? But yeah, I just really like them because they know what's up. They know what is up. And on top of that, it's just a great album. Like, musically, it's just, yeah. Some of my favorite songs are like Cross Out the Eyes, one of my favorite Thursday songs of all time, like Paris in Flames, A Hole in the World, Standing on the Edge of Summer. Yeah. Like Thursday and Jeff, they write about, I guess, like I said earlier, darker themes. Even if it's not just political, they write a lot about death and like grieving and just, yeah, like you listen to the lyrics or you hear what the inspiration behind some of these songs are, and you're like, God damn. Like, oh my God, like Jeff Rickley, bless your soul. Holy fuck. But it's just a great album, and I think it's one of the most popular and most influential post-hardcore albums for a reason. So, and last but not least, From Under the Cork Tree, Fall Out Boy. This album is very special to me. I've been listening to Fall Out Boy for as long as I can remember, really. And I think it's beautiful and a little crazy that I haven't grown out of them. You know, I've been listening to them for so long, and every single day, I love them, and they resonate with me more and more and more. But most specifically, From Under the Cork Tree, like, I swear to God, they wrote that album about me. I was born the same year that it came out, so they literally were just like, oh, like, it just lines up. You know what I mean? I just love that album so much. And again, I think that albums that I think can reflect experiences that people live in any sort of sense and can be related back to you, and for a million other people, I think is a beautiful thing. And I think that this album specifically is just so me. Like, I listen to it and I'm like, yeah, you know what's up. One lyric that is that like I always think of when I think of this album, it's not like anything super deep or like, you know, introspective, but it's very me. The lyric is, "Your makeup stains my pillowcase." Yes, because half of my pillowcases have makeup stains all over them. And I you know, I hear that lyric and I'm like, yes, oh my God. And even with, you know, their more sadder songs, Fall Out Boy is known for having, you know, depressing lyrics with upbeat songs, but I think a specifically sad lyric, more somber tune to it would be I've Got a Dark Alley. I'm not saying the entire name because Fall Out Boy again is known for their long ass titles, but I've Got a Dark Alley, sad song, not very upbeat, but I love that song a lot because, you know, I related to it when I was emo, when I was sad. So like the lyric, "I'm hopelessly hopeful, you're just hopeless enough," like, oh my god, like that just, like, when I listened to that song for the first time and I was just like sad and emo, I was like, oh, how did they know? How the did they know? Like, on God, they got cameras in my room. But yeah, I just love the album so much. And it's kind of carried on and resonated with me from when I was in, you know, middle school, high school, and now that I'm an adult in college. Yeah, it's still, if nobody's got me, I know From Under the Cork Tree has me. Even on my 18th birthday, I got a From Under the Cork Tree tattoo on my arm. And I love her very, very, very much. I could go on and on and on about this album. Again, lyrics, crazy. Fall Out Boy again and Pete Wentz are known for just writing the most insane lyrics. Like, I don't even know how he comes up with half of this shit on there. It's actually crazy to me. One of my favorite songs and my favorite Fall Out Boy song of all time, XO, "To the love I left my conscience pressed through the keyholes I watch you dress, kiss and tell, loose lips sink ships." Bruh, where'd you get that? Where did that come from? My senior quote in my yearbook was, "We only do it for the scars and stories, not the fame," which that is like my motto. It's kind of like, you know, you see the lyric and you understand the vibe, but it's like essentially, we don't do shit for other people. You just do it for the fun, for the experience and the scars and the stories, and you don't do it to fucking, I guess, nowadays, post it on Instagram or post it on the damn TikTok or whatever. Oh my god. But, oh my god, like, I just love Fall Out Boy. Ugh, Fall Out Boy saved me. Again, I could go on and on and on and on about that album, and I could go on and on about all those other albums, but I wanted to keep it short, I wanted to be cute, I wanted to keep it quick. So, yeah. So those are my albums. Let me know if you think my music taste is fire or not. I know it's pretty basic, but it's fine. I just love those albums, and I love my bands, and I love New Jersey, and yeah, that's my video.